So one of the questions that we get so much is, how are we supposed to be handling families with everything that's happening? How are we supposed to handle families differently, or what should we do with these limitations on how many people are supposed to be in the room? What would you say, Matt?
Well, thanks for the introduction, first of all. That was very kind. And hi, guys. I know it's late, and thanks for joining us here and being a part of our night. That's a good question, and it was addressed in several social media sites, NFDA being one of them as well. But our role is to prepare the deceased to the best possible way that we can, and also help them view their best possible way by using the media that we have.
You have a teaser there? What's the media that we have? You got something new?
Well,
something you're working on?
No, nothing that we have. No.
You got? Is that what you're going to do?
I mean,
you're going to show us something?
What we're on?
He's got a secret he doesn't want to tell you. He's in the process of putting together an instructional video to make it simple for people to be able to go through the process with their loved one, to be able to be present. And tell me what your thoughts were about how this is. You've transformed the industry with your techniques. Tell us what you think about how this is likely going to end up transforming the industry.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun, really. And I received a phone call from a friend of mine and a colleague of ours, Kelly Hike. And he said, Matt, this is what funeral directors need. And, who better to do it than someone that's already doing these type of things. Yeah. And this is going to be an excellent instructional. Some of you are already doing it. And some of you don't have any idea how to do it.
All right.
And so it's important.
Let's not spoil it too much here, I guess. You got this coming out. What about staff concerns? This is very serious here. Your staff being concerned with being infected, with exposure themselves. What do you say? How do we handle that?
That's a hard one. And being concerned is a legitimate concern. And having that concern of being exposed is a very fair concern for the staff. But we know the protocol, and we know to keep the safe distance. And it's okay for us professionals to not do the things that we would typically do when families come in, and that's touching them, hugging them. Sometimes if we know them, kissing them. So it's okay now.
So you're saying it's okay to act different, like not so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we need to start out with at the very beginning, that first touch, and that's the phone call. When the phone call comes in, and we're making the appointment time for us to sit down and speak with the family, we let them know, hey, under the in light of what's going on, we want you to be aware that we're going to do everything we can to serve you the best way we can, but just understand that it's okay if we keep a safe distance.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's important to notify the family, because we don't want large groups coming into a small office for these arrangements. Let them know, hey, limit your family to just a couple people for the conference.
Well, whatever the protocol is, I guess, right?
You want to stay about 7 feet away, and you certainly don't want to be in the same room if someone's actively coughing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What about this question? Keeps coming up. I've heard different things on it. How long does the virus live in the body of the deceased?
Well, from what we've been hearing, we don't know yet. And when I say we, I'm talking about the experts, the virologists. We just don't know. We've heard some with porous surfaces, a few hours, to like stainless steel hard surfaces.
So what do we do if we don't know? What do we do?
Well, we adhere to the protocol.
Yeah.
To what we know.
Something you said that really struck me when we were doing the last video. You said, we don't know what we face with people that aren't sick, whether they are sick. We never know what you're walking into when someone passes away, what disease or what sickness they've had. And what I like about what you said, you keep going back to follow the protocol.
Yeah, but it's
the safest way to keep yourself protected is to follow the protocol.
Well, and also, to treat each person as if they have that infection.
Just treat them as if they're infected.
Universal precaution, but always act as if you're dealing with, someone that has the virus.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
And I think one concern is it's not necessarily the deceased person, but it's the people that were exposed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the family that was exposed, and so, if you're working with a family and you know that they have been exposed, just be upfront with them right from the get-go. They know that the person has been exposed. Make sure you know that they know you know. That way there's no surprises.
Yeah.
Limit the amount of people and let them
good.
know that we're going to be,
Good.
keeping a safe distance.
What about this? This is a good one. What about alternatives for sanitizer? What if they're what if they're all out of sanitizer? What do you do then?
Well, my buddy Gregory McCleary gave me a call just the other day, yesterday, and he says, "Hey Matt, do you got any sanitizer?" I'm like, "Well, no, that's restricted." He goes, "Well, you know what I do?" He goes, "I get a bottle of rubbing alcohol, put a little scent in it, like cherry scent or lemon or something, and he just puts it in a little bottle that creates a mist."
Yeah.
So just regular rubbing alcohol with a little bit of scent, and he has a little mister,
Yeah.
and he just squirts it in his hand.
We don't need to check any approvals for that, or any guidelines, or any OSHA, or
Well,
CDC, or anything.
Well, OSHA or CDC, I think they recommend between 60 and 80% alcohol.
Okay.
And just regular rubbing alcohol
Okay.
meets that requirement. So
Okay.
you should be pretty safe.
All right.
There. And have also, if you have sanitizer, keep it available in your funeral homes
All right.
and the pumps too.
I've saved the second hardest question, and I think this is a question that's come up in different versions. I think this might be the second hardest question. What do we do about because we're trained, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to be able to care for the family. Someone walks in, if you say we have to treat everyone as though they're potentially exposed, everyone as though they're potentially a carrier, what do we tell our staff about how they should be acting under these circumstances?
Well, again, George, it's, if you're concerned, that's fair. And if you're concerned, that's a fair concern. But what also is fair is making the choices to protect yourself and your staff, and letting them know to keep that distance. And to think about why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing what we're doing because I truly believe that the family is much more grateful that they have the opportunity to say goodbye to their loved one than how we're acting as professionals. Yeah. So I think if we take the focus off of us and how we act, and the real focus is giving them an opportunity to say goodbye in a dignified way.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't care about that we're 7 feet away or 10 feet away.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They're happy to just be able to.
They're grateful
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
Okay, and now this is one that's coming up. I mean, this is potentially revolutionary for the business. What about for our profession? What about this talk of potential cremation as an alternative to protect people from protecting? And what about that?
Yeah, as if cremation isn't on the rise enough as it is, right? I'm a firm believer in the open casket viewing, as many of you that know me know that. But when it's concerning this COVID-19, listen, even with cases that are exposed or expected to be exposed to COVID-19, and you're going to handle those cases, it doesn't matter if they choose burial or visitation or cremation, you still have the potential of being exposed. Yeah. So that's already there. And to take away that key opportunity to be able to say goodbye, because that's really what we would be doing if we encourage cremation versus burial or traditional. We're taking away that key opportunity for the family to say goodbye, and we don't want to do that.
So are you saying that you would even say, if the family's thinking of cremation, because of what you know and what you've experienced with the family transition of saying goodbye, that you would encourage them to go through the embalming process and experience being able to say goodbye to their loved one properly? I
would. And we can do that in a dignified way. We can do it in a safe way. And I believe education, talking to your families at the point of contact, first contact, letting them know. I believe having even a pamphlet at the arrangement office that you can give the family to let them know what to expect. Mm-hmm. So for example, if I'm meeting with you and you're making arrangements with me, and I give you a little pamphlet that I've printed off, I said, George, this is how it's okay to respond. And it's okay that families may not come up to you and hug you. and prepare your families. And it can be something you just print out. You do a lot of printing, print something out that shows that it's okay to do that and to not get as close as you normally would. Yeah. Just prepare them.
That's good.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
make it open.
I appreciate that, Matt. I know we weren't able to take questions that time, so I'll apologize for that. We are working on a simple, robust way for you to be able to bring the family into the room, for them to be able to join via closed group or secret group, I forget what the terminology is, to be able to come in and watch and be able to be a part of the service so that they're able to enjoy the passing of their loved one. And we're working on that. Last time we came on Facebook Live, we talked about what we were working on for how to handle the embalming cases. And I have to tell you, I'm so grateful. I know Matt is so grateful for all of you that have come in, viewed, commented, asked questions. He says it all the time. We're all in this together, and we're all trying to do our best to serve our families. But anything else you'd like to share, Matt, before we wrap it up here?
Just keep doing what we're doing. And, you're right. I always say we're all in this together, and we all say that because we are. Yeah. Here it is, I'm sure, well after 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we're still going at it. Yeah. And just don't lose faith and hope.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right.